The biggest challenge in my life came from the inside, where I grew up rejected. I grew up feeling insecure. What I learned about myself through this experience was that the Lord had His hand on me. My name is Michael Dewar, and I'm a retired telecom official. Around about 2008, I went into full-time ministry and worked right up until now, serving the Lord and His sheep. Jacques invited us to Remembrance Church, and the minute we walked in there, we knew this was our home. Did we decide to join Remembrance? No. The Lord decided for us. The biggest challenge that I had to overcome in my life wasn't the challenge of being in a life of crime or in a life of happiness and joy or this type of thing. The biggest challenge in my life came from the inside, where I grew up rejected. I grew up feeling insecure. So that is why I sought to find happiness that I thought at that time with somebody much older than myself, who was a hero to me, who drove a fast car, who did all sorts of things. And that is the challenge came, is to try and overcome rejection and insecurity. My testimony begins on the 23rd of February 1951. That was the day that I was born in East London. I was born to good parents, but my father was prone to alcohol, and my mom was a lady who loved the nightlife. She loved the good life. And so there wasn't room in their marriage at that time for a child. My life turned when I was about 13 years old. And you ask why? The Beatles. The Beatles happened. And the times changed. And I was very influenced by the music of the time. And I suddenly found myself in an era where there was love, there was peace, there was, all you need is love. And this is something that I had been yearning for. And so I was influenced in this particular lifestyle. And so I grew up wearing flowery bell-bottoms and goodness knows what all, because I found a release in that. Because the years before had instilled a yearning to belong, to have somewhere, to have something. And this gave it to me because it was, it was just different. And so I followed that music, that trend. I wore the clothes, I grew the hair, I did what they did for that particular period. Then it was probably 2 years into that, music seemed to change. And I felt there was something missing. And so I then started to follow the path of destruction. I went on to leave that love, peace thing behind, and I got mixed up with the wrong crowd. If it wasn't for God, I would not be sitting in this chair today. I decided as a youngster with the people that I was with, we were going to run away. And I was climbing out the window that night. And my cousin that was living in the same house as us, he saw that. And he went and told my auntie, Michael's running away. And they stopped me. And that very night, the two people that I was going to be going with were killed. And I would have been with them. And I know that God protected me. I experienced God through that by Him bringing into my life a godly woman. Well, I suppose, it's very emotional because living the style that I did, God didn't play a very big part, though I knew that He was there. And I met Jenny when she was 14 years old. And I was 17, I think 17 or 18 at the time. And I just knew she had something special about her. Jenny's parents and myself was friends with the son of a family that lived down the road from us. And the one night we had a party there and everything else, and I saw that she was there, and then I decided, no, I wanted to start going out with her. And I went to her mom and dad the next day and to her granny, and they didn't like what they saw. Because I arrived there in my purple trousers and my green floral shirt and my crocodile button jacket and that, and they didn't like what they saw there. But they accepted me. And so I met her, and she was a very good Christian girl. And her mom and dad would go to church and she would go to church. And so when I started dating with Jenny, she invited me time to time to church. The one night we were living in Durban, and we went to a Baptist church convention. At the end of the service, he did the altar call, and I wasn't moved by the altar call. Then they played that song by Brian Dixon, Just As I Am. And so it was just as I am. So I went forward, and she went with me, and I gave my heart to the Lord in that particular meeting in October of 1985. Things didn't change much after that. Life carried on until around about 2008, when I looked back and I saw what He had done for me. I'd seen what He had done for my family, and I decided I wanted to do that to help someone else. What I learned about myself through this experience was that the Lord had His hand on me, and He had a work for me to do. And I learned that with His help, that I was no longer a victim of my circumstances. I'd now become a master of my circumstances. And so I was able to then now make decisions to say, no, I will not do this. I will not turn to alcohol. I will not turn to this or to that. And I practice that to this day. But only with His help. Otherwise, pride could come in. My pride was that having come from where I did, getting to where I was my doing. And I was proud of that. And I didn't want anyone to come in and to have to help me, because I felt, no, I've earned it, I've done it, and I don't need you. It prevented me from moving forward in life, because I sometimes used to think to myself, I can do it. I don't need you to tell me what to do. You see, and that came from that insecurity from way back then. That's the type of pride that I had to battle with. That I wasn't always the number one person that I thought I was. The Lord Himself helped me. If I have a problem, I say, Lord, I need you. I read that book called Hey God, and I can turn around and say, hey God, I need you in this situation. And He's always come through. What I've learned is that in the times of difficulty, the Lord is your loved one. And then He brings you through, and He brings people around you that care for you. And now He's placed me amongst loved ones. Remembrance, house of prayer, where I was before. He gave me that feeling, that sensation now of, now there are people that really care for you, that you don't need to have this rejection with you anymore. I'm able to get out there and do what I do best, and that's help the people in need. And I do that because where I came from to where I am now, I want to share that, and I want to bring joy to people out there. That's what I want to do. My message to people out there: there is no bridge over troubled water. Many of us, I looked for that bridge. There's no bridge over troubled water. The Lord said to me in Isaiah, He said to me, you will go through the waters. Take my hand and I will pull you through. Jesus is your bridge. And the main thing that I learned was from a great statesman, actually, Winston Churchill, when he said, never, ever, ever give up. So my message is, don't give up.